Does anybody work 9 to 5 these days? I don't know.
Hard no.
Hard no.
5 to 9.
5 to 9. This morning we have a wake-up call for women in the workforce. Talking to you, the percentage working through their peak earning years, that's from the age 40 to 54, is expected to decline in the next decade. Yikes. That's according to the jobs website Indeed. Priya Rathod, Indeed's career expert and workplace trends editor, is here with what women need to know. We are all listening to you, Ms. Priya, with both ears.
Thanks.
So why is this happening? And you mentioned the ages of 40 to 55, but isn't it wider than that, 40 to 54? Isn't it wider than that?
Yes, I mean, 34 to 54 is what we're really talking about here. On the surface, it looks good, right? You know, the labor force participation rate is higher for women than men, but underneath that surface, there's this intergenerational pressure cooker, and it's ready to pop. You know, women are disproportionately taking on household tasks as it relates to raising children, taking care of elderly parents. There's rising healthcare and housing costs, and the workforce isn't keeping up with flexibility and the ability to work remote, which women need to stay in the workforce.
So women have always taken on more responsibilities, but is the variable that's changing now the fact that the cost for childcare and elder care is going up, so women are taking on more of that load? Is that what's changing?
Absolutely. And so the costs are going up, and also they need to be able to have that flexibility in order to manage everything. And when we see workforces reducing that flexibility, you're pushing these women out, and frankly, you're losing all of the great experience that they are here to give you.
And what questions, as a woman is interviewing, should she be asking to these employers to identify, you know, the benefits and whether that culture is going to be a good fit?
Absolutely. As a mom of 3 and a workforce expert, I tell my friends this all the time. Test that flexibility before you say yes. Don't be afraid to ask those hard questions. We think they're going to disqualify us, but it has to fit into your life. Ask.
What are the hard questions?
Yes. What does it look like if I have to leave for an unplanned appointment during the day? What does it look like if I have to pick up my child and then log back on later at night, right? The job has to fit into your lifestyle. And remember, you have a lot to offer that these workforces need.
I know, but if I'm sitting in an interview, I'm going to think that that's going to get me, that's a red flag.
It'll get you a next.
Yeah, exactly.
She's going to be a problem, don't you think?
Listen,
People
no one's
think
more
that?
no one's more productive than a mom who has to pick up her child at 3 p.m.
Preach.
Right? I mean, we all know this. So you're also bringing your productivity to the table, right? And you're saying that in an output-generated job, I'm still going to do the job, but I want to make sure that this fits into my lifestyle too. And I do think it's okay to say that.
I've heard you say that it's so much more than your compensation, that you should look at your overall package, such as?
Exactly. So, you know that old adage, time is money? It's very true here, right? So to think about in an environment right now where raises aren't as common, what can you ask for? Can you ask to work remote 2 days a week? Can you ask for a hybrid schedule? And then think about the things they offer that are going to save you money. Childcare assistance, backup childcare assistance, FSA funds, programs that help you do remote doctor's appointments. All those things contribute to where your time is put and how productive you are.
We're also told, I feel like all the time, to be our authentic selves. And especially as we grow older, that becomes more important. We don't want to deal with all the BS.
Exactly.
But I also feel like that advice is not actually what employers want often. You're told to, whether it's dress a certain way, talk a certain way. How should women who are getting older in their careers navigate that challenge when they want to bring their authentic selves to work?
You know, I think that's such a good question. I think it's important to understand the environment and the culture that you're in right now. You know, I'll speak to myself. I work at Indeed. I've been there remote for 10 years. There's certain meetings in which I do bring my authentic self. And there's certain meetings in which let's talk about the data and I'm going to show you how it's backed up. So I think it's very much situationally based. You know, it depends on where you are.
You also say you should consider a lateral move, because I was raised, who considers a lateral move in less than 10 seconds?
I mean, exactly. I talk to my friends about this all the time. Think of your career like a lattice, not a ladder, right? Upward momentum, it's not always achieved by the next obvious step up. Sometimes it's a lateral move where you have transferable skills. You learn more AI.
Thank you so much, Priya, for all these different things to think about. We so appreciate it.